Yeah, welcome everybody and good evening to this mid-year book Freakout tag. Today is June the 16th and we're on the middle of June. Usually you do this video by the end of June, but since I will be traveling a little bit in the future, I will do it today and post it today. Maybe I'm one of the first this year to do this tag. Many of other booktubers will follow, so look out for the mid-year book Freakout tag. The prompts are the same every year, with the one exception that we changed the name of the year, which is this year, of course, 2024. So the first prompt is best book you read so far in 2024. Of the books I have finished, I would definitely say the best and most entertaining book that really pleased me a lot was The House of Doors by Tan Tuan Eng. It is a book that was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2023. And it deals with the very famous British writer Somerset Maugham, who came to Penang, to what is today Malaysia, or was Malaya at the time, to visit a friend. He stays there with his lover for a couple of weeks, and he meets the woman of the house. They have long discussions, and she tells him her story, her backstory. 10 years ago, she betrayed her husband, and this led to Somerset Maugham writing a story about it, which really is a Somerset Maugham story. So we have fiction and fiction sort of combined here. Beautiful book, beautiful atmosphere, beautiful characters. The second question is the best sequel that I've read in 2024. So I have to say, pass, because I haven't read a sequel yet in 2024. Of all the books that I've read, there was no sequel. A new release you haven't read yet, but want to, absolutely number one on that list probably right now, is Caledonian Road by Andrew O'Hagan, Scottish writer. I read his book Mayflies, which is a very sad story, very beautifully written sad story. In Caledonian Road he apparently paints a picture of today's Great Britain in our time in a very entertaining novel. Caledonian Road, can't wait to read it. Actually, yeah, the most anticipated release for the second half, not the third half of 2024. I would say that I would name three other books here. Caledonian Road is already released, so the books that will be released in the second half of the year, three of them that interest me a lot. One of them is from Japan, from one of my favorite Japanese writers, one of the most famous writers in the world probably right now. The City and Its Uncertain Walls by Haruki Murakami comes in November, and the translation by Philip Gabriel. It is said to be a very typical Murakami novel, so we're all excited for this one. Then another one of my favorite writers will be publishing a book already in September this year, Rachel Kushner from the United States. Her new novel is Creation Lake, and apparently she paints another picture of a great woman, female character in Europe, in France, in this book. And the third one is by a Native American writer who is very famous. She won the Pulitzer Prize, and now she will come in October this year with a new book called The Mighty Red, Louise Erdrich. The biggest disappointment yet, I wouldn't say that a book really has disappointed me yet this year. I wouldn't speak of disappointments. Really not. The biggest surprise for me was because I got slowly into that book. I listened to it on the audio version. It's beautifully written, beautifully read also by the author. This is How to Say Babylon, a Jamaican memoir by the Jamaican poet Sophia Sinclair, who tells the story of growing up in a Rastafari family with all the limitations that meant to her as a girl and as a woman, and how to liberate herself from that and become, well, a wonderful person and a wonderful writer. A new favorite author, I would say that Tan Tuan Eng is a favorite author, and also the man who has written the book that I'm currently listening to, the Spanish author Fernando Aramburu. I'm listening to his novel Homeland, or Patria as it is called in Spanish. Actually started reading the Swedish version, Swedish translation of the book, then switched to the German audio version of the book that is written by a wonderful German actress, Eva Mattes. Then realizing when sometimes comparing the Swedish translation and the German audiobook that there are parts missing in the German audio translation, and really there are parts missing. And now I'm in the English audio version of the book, which is exactly 4 or 5 hours longer than the German version, so I feel really a little bit betrayed by the German audiobook, which misses a lot of action things happening in that amazing book, Fernando Aramburu, Patria Homeland. I will talk about this in a single review once I've been finished with the book. Newest fictional crush. I usually always say no to that question, as I'm too old for crushes in literary fiction. But now I will say that my newest literary crush is Sophia Sinclair, the character Sophia Sinclair, in Sophia Sinclair's book, memoir, How to Say Babylon. So, hi to Sophia Sinclair. Newest favorite character, I pass here. A book that made you cry in 2024 also have to pass because, well, there were some sad stories. Even in Sinclair's novel, there are some really sad parts when she's growing up. It's very difficult for her being in that very locked environment. But I wouldn't say that any of those books have made me cry yet. A book that made me happy, yeah, that was definitely a graphic novel, the first really graphic novel that I finished. That is Roaming by Mariko and Jillian Tamaki from Canada. Story about three young women going on a weekend trip from Canada to New York City. And that's really a beautiful atmosphere, beautifully drawn pictures, and a beautiful story between these three characters. Yes, favorite book to movie adaptation you've read? Another pass. I'm really disappointing you today, am I? And the most beautiful book that I bought this year, I haven't bought many books this year. The last book I bought actually is called Iowa by an Austrian writer called Stefanie Sargnagel, and I really like it, the cover and everything. So maybe I mentioned this book. It's a great story because Stefanie Sargnagel is a very famous Austrian author, young author, I think born in 1989. And she went apparently to the Iowa Writers' Workshop, and she's writing about that experience coming from Austria to the United States and how she experienced the United States and the Writers' Workshop in Iowa. So, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Here I would say Caledonian Road by Andrew O'Hagan. And I also would mention Tommy Orange's new novel, Wandering Stars, which came out in March this year. I think that Brian of Bookish has made a review about this. He wasn't so super positive about it, but I've read There by Tommy Orange, and I really liked it, and I'm very curious about his new book, Wandering Stars. Tommy Orange being one of the great important voices in Native American literature. And the last one that I want to read by the end of the year is Haruki Murakami's The City and Its Uncertain Walls. It will come in November, and hopefully I will get my hands on it before the end of the year, and I will be able to read it. So this was the mid-year book Freakout tag. I hope that you also have beautiful answers to these prompts. You can write them in the comments down below. And watch all the other videos by all the other beautiful and amazing fellow booktubers. I will make a trip one of these days, and I will contact you from there soon. See you. Bye.